Of course, some somebody's 218,000 contracts long, somebody's short. Suppose I did the December contract. I mean, 1 year from now, I don't even have a September 2025 trading much. Okay. So you always trade the near contract, near active contract. At the end of December, I still have my exposure. So what am I going to do? I'm going to basically close my December contract. At that point, the March contract is going to be active. I'm going to roll it to March. That's how you kind of do it. Quarterly contracts, March, uh, June, September, and December. Third Wednesday of the contract month. If you want to keep your position, at the maturity of your current contracts, you roll the position to the next contract. Typically, you don't want to do this on the last day of trading. Let's typically about a week before the settlement date of the current contract or the delivery date of the current contract, trading kind of dries up. Either people close their position because it's extremely rare that people ask for delivery. I mean, you basically close it and you don't have to worry about delivery. Because of that, trading dries up in the last week or so. So I have exposure 1 year from now. Current active contract is December, so it's going to expire around December. Let's find out exactly what date is. Third Wednesday is December 18th. So around December 10, 11, I'm going to actually close this position. Let's say, not let's say, I wanted to be long, so I had 16 contracts of long pounds contracts. On December 11th, I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to establish 16 contracts of December short, which closes my December contracts. But immediately, I'm going to reopen 16 contracts of March long. That's what a rollover is. In many cases, you just tell your broker, they do it for you anyway. Or there are computer programs that does these. That's how you manage exposure using futures contract. In the old days, that's required a lot of human power, human time and cost. But now computers do these. You let your computer know how you're going to do it. Your computer automatically sends a message to the exchange. Done. So it's not that much of an issue anymore. The biggest issue is kind of the so-called uh, basis risk. Uh, basis, part of the reason is when you calculate fair price for forwards, let's say 1 year, I'm going to use a 1 year forward interest rate, right? But if I'm going to use the nearest futures contract, it's 3 months from now. So I'm going to use the 3 months. The interest rates for the 3 month and 1 year are different. So over the next 9 months, those interest rates may change. So the fluctuations in the interest rate differentials creates a basis risk, but that could also be managed by managing your interest rate risk, which we're going to do towards the end of semester. But at least you have a relatively cheap way of doing it. You don't have to take counterparty risk, very high volume, so price discovery is not costly. If you're doing only forwards, forwards are done only over the counter. So if your bank tells you that uh, the price is uh, 70, 75, you're not sure whether or not that's the right price. You can make a calculation, but there is typically bigger bid offer spreads in forward contracts compared to futures. In futures contracts, bid offer spreads are at most one tick, sometimes half a tick. So trading costs are not much. And banks can try to take advantage of you. I'll tell you one story. This is a real story. Uh, Back year 2000, uh, the brokerage firm that I was working for, I was in charge of, in addition to other things, management of foreign currency risk for the parent company. The parent company had some contracts. It was a construction company from Kazakhstan. Okay. And the contracts were over the long term and they were delivered in terms of euro. I don't remember the numbers, but they were supposed to get, let's say, 10 million euro over the next 5 years. And I calculated the net exposure, including the currencies of their inputs and stuff. But we thought that dollar was going to gain value. So we wanted to hedge the risk that euro was going to lose value. So, okay. So I went to the exchanges. The banks were asking too much collateral to do the futures. So we went to a friendly bank. It was a state bank. And we said, okay, we're going to go 10 million euros short against dollar, a maturity of 2 years from today. I kind of calculate a forward price, and their quote was similar. So, okay, we got the deal. And when we did the deal, euro was buck 10 or something. And this euro went as low as about 85 cents. So the forward contract was mark to market, was in profit. It was a hedge, but my boss said, if we unwind this, are we going to get cash? I said, yes. He said, I can use that cash. It wasn't a good risk management practice, but he was the boss. I said, okay. And I think we were going to get, I don't remember the exact numbers, almost $2 million profit. Technically, it wasn't profit because we were going to get less dollars from the construction contract, but there was going to be a $2 million cash inflow to the firm, to the brokerage firm. We were basically attached to arbitrage in a sense. And I went to the bank. I said, I want to unwind the position. Now give me a quote. This was about 4 months after the initial one. And he gave me a number that would have given me only about $1 million in profit. I said, where the hell did you come up with that number? I said, fair value is this. He said, but you guys made a lot of money on this deal. We should share it. I said, I could close this position with another bank and I still make money. We ended up calling their CEO, who was a friend, so we get a relatively fair value. But the guy had no idea that, you know, it was not an arbitrage-free price. So that sort of stuff happens in over-the-counter trades. In the futures markets, I would have actually had that money in my account little by little over that 4 months anyway. Profits, they accrue in your account. Of course, so do the losses. All right, let's stop here. On Tuesday, we're going to continue with futures. This time, we're going to do a lot of implementation with Excel. We're going to get actual live prices, see what happens to our accounts, and how to actually manage it with the computer. And I'll briefly start thinking about options as well, because there are also some things called options on futures, which is like a second derivative product. I'll see you guys Tuesday.